I usually don't stray too far from drama on YouTube these days, but when I do, it is usually to listen to the now defunct Ron and Fez radio show, which, I mean, kind of was a drama commentary show of its day, similar to Opie and Anthony or Howard Stern, that sort of thing. But recently, I saw in my recommendations the 9/11 2001 broadcast, and I've listened to it before, but I thought it was worth taking a couple of the phone calls and putting them into one video because, especially if you're roughly my age or younger, you probably have little to no memory of the actual day. So I think it's worth listening just to get an idea of how people felt the day of after seeing the two towers be hit on the news. Well, I guess just seeing one on the news get hit, but
because you just when they took out the first tower and then the next tower and then the Pentagon went, you thought, well, how much longer is the Empire State Building going to be sitting there?
Yeah, sure. That's exactly what was going through my mind as I was running and trying to get my kids today, is that at no time did I feel like, okay, this is over, the worst is behind us.
Right.
I'm thinking, what the hell is next? And you're trying to push those things out of your mind so you can be the adult.
And you know that this attack happened, after 9 o'clock when everybody was pretty much at work that was going to work, and you think, oh, is this something that's going to go along the time zones? When the people on the West Coast in Los Angeles, when they get into work, is there someplace out there that's going to get the next plane?
Or
yeah, I think that's something that probably gets, lost as time goes on. But it wasn't just that there was an attack on our country or whatever, but for the whole day, people were worried about it. We're not sure. Are there more targets? Are they still going? We don't know. Eventually, all the flights were grounded. So, it would have stuck out if there were more. But for a good long while, everybody was like freaking out. We don't know if it's over or not.
hearing that these guys were able to pull off 4 different hijackings.
Stealing 4 jet airliners.
Yeah. Dennis, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Dennis.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey.
I just wanted to let you know that, I don't know, it's kind of an update or something of that sort, but a neighbor of mine has a friend who works in one of the coroner's offices in the city in Staten Island, and they were getting, reports in and stuff that they haven't sent to the news yet, but there were reports of, lots of bodies coming in. I don't know if it was from the towers or around the towers.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis, I have no idea, what those numbers are going to be. I'd be afraid to even say.
Yeah, his phone's pretty rough, but I'm pretty sure he is saying that his buddy had a corner office and saw people jumping out of the building that day.
Yeah, it's just out of proportion.
I can't imagine. I mean,
it's just a real situation.
It is.
Not even real yet.
Yeah.
When you just start adding up the fact that there was people on the plane, all the tens of thousands of people in the building, anyone on the ground.
Yeah,
when the explosions happen.
Firefighters.
Right, and when the collapses happen.
Yeah. Well, we know the only thing that they're giving out, the only number they're giving out for sure, is the 266 people that were on the planes.
They're for sure about that.
The number of other people is...
it's just unknown now.
It's unknown, and it just seemed frightening to even guess. Thanks a lot, Dennis.
Thanks, guys.
Rooster, you're on Ron Fez. How you doing, buddy?
How's it going, guys?
Hey, man.
Hey, Rooster.
I was standing right on Church Street, right in front of the building today when the second plane hit.
Yeah.
And I've been in the military a while, and I'll tell you, that's the most horrific thing I've ever seen. And I'm up in Connecticut now, and the units up here are on high alert, and we already got helicopters and soldiers, and we're probably all going to get deployed down to New York City. And I just ask that you guys help us out, and the viewers that are there that are in New York, please, if you see us there and you have a chance to give blood and you have a chance to lend a hand, do that. And it's a sad state.
Well, what's the...
Obviously, it was a very sad day, but I didn't keep a ton of it, because I'm trying to get the spectrum of what people were feeling. But there were a lot of people expressing that sort of sentiment on the day where, pretty much anybody can donate blood or volunteer in various different ways. And kind of, the silver lining of that day was how many people banded together and tried to help out.
What's the talk about with most of the guys in the military? Who do they think is behind it? What's the feeling of what's next, Rooster?
Well, I'm really not sure what's next. I don't know if you guys saw this. There's all kinds of explosions in Kabul, Afghanistan right now where the Taliban is.
Right, but the word we hear is that's not us.
Yeah, a group called the Northern Alliance Rebels was taking credit for the Kabul bombings.
I tell you what, those things look a hell of a lot like cruise missiles.
Is that
are
right?
in there. But,
well, as far as I know, no official word out of our government what we're doing. And a lot of times if we do something like this, we'll hit first before we say anything, Fez.
Right, yeah, and maybe President Bush will have more details on that. He speaks in 45 minutes.
Well, guys, I appreciate it, and for all listeners, please, God bless America, and support anyone that's out there, and thank you for all your help.
And Rooster, keep in touch with us, all right, buddy?
I will.
All right, that's it.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Mike, you're on the Ron Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Ron Fez.
Oh, yeah. And, I think the one guy said he was up in Connecticut, but this is terrestrial radio, so it's all people that are, living in the Northeast that are calling in.
How you doing?
Hey, man.
Hey, Mike.
I'm doing pretty good, but the thing is that the more I read about it, the less I can't believe that the towers are gone, man.
Yes, they are.
It's just a landmark, not only for New York, for the whole country.
Yes, it is. That's exactly why they went after him, Mike. That's exactly why they went after him, to give us this feeling after the fact.
Yeah, and it's right. I can see New York City from my window right now, and it looks so weird not to look at the Twin Towers.
I know, it's very odd. I just looked up and saw a picture of the night skyline.
Yeah, but...
and with all the lights on and all the buildings.
And the towers are not there.
There's this huge black hole in the middle of all of it.
It might be the thing people said the most that day is that the skyline looked wrong or something along those lines.
Yeah, it just looked really, really weird.
And that's something that you've seen on every news program every night.
Or when you watch movies from the 50s, doesn't it always look weird when they show the skyline? It looks so much smaller without the towers there.
Yeah.
I woke up at 10 in the morning, and my family was telling me, have you seen the news? I'm like, no, why? What happened? And my cousin told me, well, the Twin Towers fell down. And I thought he was joking. I'm like, how in the hell are the Twin Towers going to fall down?
I know, it's so odd. It's like if you lived in Colorado and looked up and a mountain was missing.
Yeah, just like that, exactly.
Or like if you looked up in the sky and where's the moon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think I was listening to Don and Mike, and it was kind of why all this was on, and I think Don Geronimo was saying, well, we better get people out of the arch in, St. Louis.
Yeah.
We better get people off the Golden Gate Bridge, out of the, away from the Space Needle. That's the feeling that we had at the time.
Yeah, all day long, you never...
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier, but basically people were thinking any landmark, kind of like this caller was saying, it was such a landmark that they went after, and so everybody was thinking any other landmarks, potentially the next victim.
Never had the feeling that the attacks were over, that the danger had passed. And with both Twin Towers out, you knew the Empire State Building was next.
Yeah, I was just waiting for the next plane to just crash in the Empire State Building. I was just waiting for that.
All right, but that didn't happen. All right, thank you, Mike.
Okay, later.
Here's Joe. Joe, you're on Ron Fez.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Who is this robot we have that's the president? Did you hear the speech he read? No passion.
The speech that Bush gave, it was just kind of a, sort of generic, given that some sort of attack just happened and we don't really know the details. It was like it wasn't a fiery, impassioned, we're going to get these people sort of speech, because we didn't have any details or anything at that point, but this guy's upset about that.
I want to hear anger. We're all angry.
Well, I don't...
We need to bang on the podium, and we're going to get these bastards.
Joe, that's probably one of the reasons why you're not president. I don't think, he wants to direct us to the certain, right now I'm so numb, I don't know what that speech was about.
Sure, and it was really short.
Yeah.
And...
To me, he sounded like one of our phone callers.
Right.
So
this is like the one time I want Sharpton on my side, and I need his, someone needs to light a fire up this guy's
You're angry.
I'm angry.
Joe,
angry.
It's very, very understandable.
If you listen to President Roosevelt's Day in Infamy speech, it's not much more passionate.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's going to quote anything from his, from this speech.
Well, I don't know. I'm not ready to judge it yet, Joe. I'm sorry. Okay, buddy? All right, thanks.
Just angry, man.
All right,
sure.
I understand that, and this is a place to express it.
Joe's moved into the anger stage.
Yeah. He's beating me there, Fez. Here's Vanessa. Vanessa, you're on Ron Fez. How you doing?
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi guys. What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm just calling because, I live in a small town across the bridge in New Jersey, and it's like we used to go to this hill every year for the 4th of July because you could see the skyline beautiful.
Right.
You could see the fireworks. The sign of independence was in the sky. You know, it's like today you go there and you see a big cloud of smoke, something that to me made me feel like my independence has been threatened. And it's like, it's so emotional, you know, what's going on. Yeah, you know, I had family that were...
Yeah, a lot of people felt that too, like just that the whole country is vulnerable and that sort of sentiment.
You know, that worked in the Trade Center. You know, thank God my aunt's home safe. You know, but it's like you can't. It's like you go and you see, you know, you go to see the fireworks, and then it's like you go there on a tragic day like today, and you see how our independence has just totally been threatened, and how it's just the skyline looks so not like it always has for me. And I mean, that's just something that we used to do every year. Every year.
It is very, very sad that the skyline will be changed forever, Fez.
It makes you feel robbed. No one came and stole our skyline.
You know, I mean, I'm sure someday we'll have the, debate of whether we should rebuild there. Should we go build the biggest towers in the world? I mean, somewhere along the line we have to say, we're going to do what we do no matter what terrorists do out there.
Yeah.
You know, that we're not going to be dictated to.
We're not going to live in bunkers or go to work underground.
It is...
unless you're a miner.
It's shocking and sad when you're going to now notice how many times those towers are in pictures of the skylines, with the Mets stuff and all when you're over there.
Sure.
At the stadium.
It's in every logo.
Yeah.
And it's like people were there today taking pictures or were with their camcorders taking, of something that's so horrendous and so...
So interesting to hear that. It was 23 years ago, and she's just appalled at the idea that people are taking pictures of something like this. Whereas, like, today it'd be pretty much every single person has their phone out taking video of it. But even just seeing a handful of them at that point in time, 23 years ago, it's like, what the heck? Obviously, not everybody was thinking that, but at least a decent chunk of people did have that sort of thinking about it, where it's like, how could you film or take pictures at a time like this?
Devastating. It's like, how can you do that,
Well, Vanessa, people do it in all different ways. I'm not judging people for the way...
No, I mean, I know, and I know that it was something that people wanted to see, but it's like it's so close because it's across the water, across the bridge, in plain view, where something so terrible had just happened, and people are just there with cameras.
All right, thanks, Vanessa.
Thanks a lot, guys.
That's Vanessa. That's how she feels. That's how she made it through her day.
I don't know if Fez meant to be, but that sounded very catty. Like just trying to dismiss Vanessa's opinion there. That's what Vanessa thinks.
Hey, Bill, you're on Ron Fez. How you doing, Bill?
Hi, Bill.
How you doing, Ron? How you doing, Fez?
Hey, buddy.
All right, I was there this morning. I was delivered to a deli. I was talking to my friend. He was on the 110th floor. His name was Dean. I know he died. He's a very good friend of mine. I just wanted to...
Yeah, and obviously these are people that are living in the Northeast calling in, but the amount of people who had a friend or a family or, one more degree of separation, a friend or family member of theirs had a friend or family who worked in the towers. It was basically, if you lived in or around New York City, you were worried about at least one person probably that worked in the towers.
Put respect out to his family.
You were delivering to a deli at World Trade Center?
Across the street from the World Trade Center.
I see.
Okay.
When I saw the first plane go through, and it was, it's just incredible. And I sat there, and I saw the fire trucks and the ambulance and everything roll up, within 5 minutes, and I saw the other plane go through. And I'm trying to hold it together without swearing, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just to hear this,
You couldn't swear. The FCC.
I was trying to get through to Opie and Anthony, and I know I lost the best friend. I know, they got to deal with this. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry.
I understand, Bill.
No, I just want to say, if there's anybody out there, please help. Really help. I got away just in time. Within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I was down the street, and I heard the building go down. I took a couple people in the van. I looked behind me. I saw that building come down.
Yeah.
And it was so destroyed, I just wanted, I'm just saying, you know, I was with the 82nd Airborne.
I mean, that's kind of a crazy one. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people that have a somewhat similar story to that. But he goes and does a delivery right next to the towers. And then, he's 10 minutes away from the towers and they go down. It's like, oof. Glad I left when I did, not get stuck in a little bit extra traffic or whatever.
Marines, at a power zone. And just, I wanted to say, if President Clinton, even hear this radio show, I'm willing to go over to Afghanistan. I got a bunch of friends. I'll take the mission.
All right,
give me the goddamn mission.
All right, thank you, Bill. Here's Rob. Rob, you're on Ron Fez. How you doing, Rob? Hi, Rob.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hi, my friend.
All right. Hey, I'm a New York City police officer, and I mean, this is by far the saddest day. I mean, I'm a young guy, but by far the saddest day of my entire life. On the radios, not the regular radios, the police radios, we actually heard a female police officer come to her death as she was caught in the rubble on the third floor in the second building when it collapsed. It was just so scary.
She was she had made her way there to as part of the rescue effort.
Yeah, we.
If you can hear, you said that they heard their coworker die over the radio, basically crushed in the rubble.
We had hundreds of officers and et cetera, inside the building, and when the building collapsed, 10 seconds later, you heard over the phone, and it was basically a shriek. You heard her voice. She just came over, and what's called the 1013 also needs assistance, and we were just trying to get her location, and she had her finger on the button for the radio, and she's just calling out, and everybody's trying to ask her what's her location, and you heard what seemed to be basically her last breath come out of her mouth, as she just uttered, and that was it. I mean, we lost hundreds of cops today, and even more so on the firemen and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a rough enough day anyway, having so many of your coworkers, and I'm sure you're legitimately friends with some of them too, that passed away that day, and then straight up listening to somebody, slip away over the radio is crazy. Like that is definitely going to be sticking with you for your entire life. That's a wild thing. The entire city, all the police officers and everyone else were all on standby. I'm sure everyone's condolences to everyone's families, and my family was worried about my own behalf. But it's just horrible.
Yeah, just horrible, Rob.
Just one of those days.
Incredibly awful story, Rob. And Fez just tells him something.
Too fake. Yeah. You heard it, and it was a movie. I mean, you guys, I'm sure, all listen to 1010 Wins and all these other radio stations. We, myself, and obviously all the other people that that had it available to them, all listening to it live and happening, and getting up to the second, updates from people that are there at the time. Hearing these things go down, and the cops and all the personnel. I mean, like everyone's been saying, and giving their hero stories. Everybody just coming in on their own time. Guys coming in from being sick. People that are that have broken arms, etc. are just coming in. Just there saying, hey, I'm a body. Whatever. Send me wherever you want to send me. It was obviously not something to smile about today, but when you put it in perspective, it was just something to be joyous about. That everybody's there and for everyone.
There's definitely pride in the number of heroic stories today. Thank you so much, Rob.
All right, thank you.
And best luck to you and all the families of the police officers out there, Fezzy, the EMTs, the firemen. I'm going to put Mikey on the phone. Mikey, you're on with Ron Fez. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Mikey.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? I've been a long-time listener, and there's a first-time caller, and I guys know that my uncle, he was in the building at the time. We just found out over an hour and a half ago that he lost his hand.
Yes, I'm listening to you, Mike.
He lost his hand.
His phone is, I cut it out. He did that like 6 times in this phone call where it cuts out on his end and he thinks that they hung up on him or something. But um, how nuts is that to not only do you survive that attack, but you lose a hand. Like that's so close to not surviving the the towers being attacked, but you still lose a hand. I mean, that's pretty awful. But I mean, that's just it's crazy. And obviously, there's again, that's another one where there's tons of people who have a similar version to that. But yeah, and there's throughout the week, a lot of radio shows did the same sort of thing where most of the broadcast was just letting people call in and talk. But so many people have a similar sort of story where they or a loved one lost some body part or was seriously injured, but still survived. And then obviously tons of people that didn't. But yeah, if you are at all curious about this, having heard this, there are lots and lots. There's Ron and Fez, Opie and Anthony. Pretty sure there's Howard Stern episodes from the day of and, the days after too.
And he's in one of the hospitals. I'm still trying to get through to my family, but my mother tells me that there's no word exactly what hospital he's in right now.
Okay, so he's alive and they got him out, but he's lost a hand.
Thank God. Thank God.
Right.
This is devastating. This kind of terrorism that's going on. The president has to denounce this. They have to denounce this because we can't continue to go on with this kind of situation in our country. I spent 4 years in the military. I was with the Marines, and in that time when Saddam Hussein was, acting up, so to speak, we had gone into his country and we fought the war and we won against them. And now we have to deal with this, it's speculation at this point.
Yeah.
But what's his name? Bin Laden, whatever his name is.
Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, they were saying more or less that he's involved with this. And
yeah, it's very weird to hear that they're like, Fez is the only one that seems to actually know the guy's name, Osama bin Laden. Ron and this caller, they're like vaguely familiar. They think they've heard of the guy or whatever. But it's crazy that at this point in time, that was not like a household name. Everybody didn't just associate Osama bin Laden with this.
I feel that, I'm a Democrat, but I'm behind President Bush 100%. If he, decides to go to war with this country and, just to make a point, Americans will not tolerate this at all, period. And, to lose someone in my family or to get someone hurt in my family after I've served for my country, I would not tolerate that.
Yeah, I mean, because we're using the word terrorism, Fezzy, the fact that it's probably the worst attack on the United States since Pearl Harbor, probably more lives lost here than at Pearl Harbor. It's staggering.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy, basically.
Mikey, thanks, my friend. God bless you, okay, buddy?
You guys take it easy, man.
I will do.
Thanks for the call, Mikey.
Keith?
On the day of, that was kind of one of the angrier calls, There's another guy that said he wanted the president to be angrier and stuff, too. But the actual day of, everybody's just kind of in shock and sad and that sort of thing. But the episodes, or not the episodes, but the broadcasts, the days after, there's a lot more people who have gotten to the anger stage, and people get super, super mad. And also, the Ron and Fez callers, they're not as angry. Like, if you listen to the Opie and Anthony ones, they're really pissed. Even starting on the day of, there's people who are like, I was listening to one guy's like, the first guy I see with a long beard or something, I'm gonna beat him up or something like that. I don't know.
Keith, you're on the Ron and Fez show. Hi, Keith.
Ron and Fez, how you doing?
Good.
Go ahead, buddy.
Listen, I'm kind of tongue-tied here, but I just wanted to give you my story. I was on the LIE this morning, and I actually saw the thing burning, and it was horrific. But when I went back to be with my family or whatever, and I got to my brother's house, and his little nephew was 2 years old. This little guy, he's just starting to walk and talk, and he grabbed my hand, he grabbed my fingers, and he started pulling me over to the living room, and he started going, hey, Uncle Keith, smoke. And he's pointing at the TV screen at this just carnage. And he's going, smoke, look, smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's just something I'm never going to forget. Because what kind of world are these kids going to grow up in, you know?
It's amazing to think of kids that are going to be born and raised in New York City and, the area and not know the World Trade Center.
And just not know, like, the feeling of being safe in America. Like,
right.
How close are all of us that are hearing this show right now to this disaster?
Yeah,
I don't
you're
feel
right.
safe. Does anybody else?
Yeah, you are correct about that, Keith. It's a day that we lost a lot of our neighbors, lost a lot of our friends. Some of us lost family. Here's Chris. Chris, you're on Ron Fez.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Ron Fez, big ass number 8697.
If you don't know that might sound weird, but they have basically like their fan groups called the big ass card holders, and they have a big ass number.
I work in Jersey, and this morning got word from a coworker who works in the basement of World Trade Center Building Number 1 that there was an explosion before anybody knew anything. And I'm 2 minutes from Washington Rock State Park, so we raced to the top of the hill, and there it was. We could see the smoke coming from the tower. By the time we got back to where I work, the second plane had crashed. This was about 9:10, maybe 9:15 this morning. And I have a good friend that works in one of the buildings on the 105th floor. And his cell phone's been dead, and just getting voicemail, no response. And everybody here in Jersey, I mean, F-16's been flying over, and that's all you hear.
Yeah, that's pretty eerie.
And now
Yeah, after the few buildings got hit and stuff, they grounded all the planes, all the commercial flights and stuff. And then in New York and a couple other major cities, I think, probably most of the major cities, they had like fighter jets flying around and patrolling basically.
I just flew in. I was Chrissy Chris. I went to the Cayman Islands a couple weeks ago. I called you guys up. I went on vacation, and I had some beautiful pictures of Manhattan, from the airline as we were coming into Newark Airport, and I can't believe what happened,
Yeah.
I can't believe they're gone, but I know we're going to get revenge.
Chris, thanks for calling us, buddy.
All right.
All right, here's Bob. He's a paramedic who said he was on the scene today. Bob, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Go ahead, Bob. What happened today for you?
We had set up a triage station at one of the colleges there, and we'd get firemen here and there coming in, and a group of other firemen would be inside, not wondering where everybody was, and it was just kind of like almost a high at times, because some guys who haven't seen each other for an hour or so would actually see them together, and it was just an ecstatic, positive feeling for these guys, knowing that their partner was alive.
They found their friends alive, huh?
It's just phenomenal. It's just people coming in that were trapped in the building for a while, and then coming in and being cleaned up, and then finally someone who was also trapped but got out had no idea that their partner was alive or dead, and then seeing them over here was just spectacular.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, and you got to think nobody really has cell phones. Like they might not have been working very well. They would have been overcrowded or whatever. Anyway, I would think. But if you have somebody that worked in the towers or near the towers, you can't text them or whatever. And so you were like watching the news to see if their name scrolled across the obituary, basically, like the confirmed dead or stuff like that. And they had different stations and stuff that you could call in to try to check on people and see if anybody that you knew was checked into like the makeshift medic hospital stations that they had and stuff. So just obviously it's going to be chaos no matter what, even with the cell phones, but significantly more because they do not have that level of communication that we take for granted.
All kinds of stories today, Fez. We were talking about that.
Yeah, right now Mayor Giuliani is speaking, and he's actually...
Oh, yeah, and it's... This is like... I think actually people weren't super hot on Giuliani before this, but then after his handling of this, people... Or I don't even know if it really was his handling of it, just more so that he was the the mayor of New York City at the time, or whatever, America's mayor. I think that's what they called him after a while. But yeah, his star has lost some luster these days.
Bringing in some city officials.
Let's throw that to them. We'll be back. And we wanted to check in with people who are part of the WNEW extended family, people that you'll hear on our show or other shows. And I'm looking up on the line right here, Fezzy. It's Lady Di.
Yeah, this last call, if you are a fan of Opie and Anthony or Ron and Fez, Lady Di called in 9/11/2001.
Looking up on the line right here, Fezzy. It's Lady Di.
Oh, okay. Part of the retarded Laverne and Shirley.
All right, let's see how Lady Di's doing. Lady Di, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Hi, Lady Di.
I saw the whole thing as it happened.
Where were you at?
I was at the brewery.
Uh-huh.
I was at Bud across the way. And you know what? Let me tell you something right now. It was very, very devastating.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
Lady Di, did you see the first plane hit?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I saw the first plane hit.
Yeah.
The second plane, I was at a meeting, so I didn't see that, but I heard the second building collapse. And can I?
It is just crazy to hear how lucid she is compared to like when she does the internship at O&A. I mean, she sounds like a normal person, but I mean, she had a job at this point, so she hadn't fully devolved into wet brain, whatever that weird named disease that she had. I can't remember.
Can I say one thing right now?
Sure.
Very, very emotional. It was. I can't explain it. It was just unreal. Unreal.
Yeah, I think
I cried all the way out of the building.
You went from drinking to a meeting?
No.
Well, she has that brewery. She works there, right?
Oh.
No. I was working there. And it happened at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, what happened was I was on my first break at 9 o'clock in the morning,
Wow.
and I saw when the first airplane came into the first building.
Right.
Okay, I saw that. Well, let's put it this way. Somebody told me that the first building exploded, everything like that. And then I went over and I saw, all right, this is what happened. I saw the first building.
Get your story straight, Lady Di.
Just explode. The second one, I was at the meeting, and they said we can go whenever we want to go. But I'll tell you what, right now, this was very emotional for me. I could not believe that this happened.
Yeah, Lady Di, it's one of those situations where, so many times in your life you'll say, I'll never forget this as long as I live. Here's
You
one
better
day
believe it.
that you really
I will never forget this as long as I live. I saw it on television so many times already.
And Lady Di, it's like you've had your best day and your worst day all in the same week with the MTV Video Music Awards.
Yeah, I know.
How long ago that feels now, though, doesn't it?
And then this?
Right.
You know what? Marion left for her vacation yesterday. Okay, because her anniversary is today, as a matter of fact.
Was she flying?
Her wedding anniversary is today.
Was she flying?
Yeah, she was crying before.
I mean flying. Did she fly out?
Flying, not crying.
No, she was... actually,
Yeah,
she flew yesterday, but she was crying today.
Yeah.
All right.
She asked me if I
Flying
was okay.
yesterday, crying today, Ronnie.
I got you. All right, thanks so much, Lady Di. Bye,
No
honey.
problem, guys.
All right.
We'll see you next time, okay?
Okay, bye.
Okay, so not as a total bummer of a mood to go out on that call with Lady Di. If you're an Opie and Anthony fan at all, I think you appreciate that. I don't know how many people will end up actually watching this that watch that, but I just want to show a couple pictures from the day of too, because it's kind of crazy just to see these, especially some pictures of the bridge. Those to me are some of the wildest ones. But the amount of smoke is just nuts. And like that looks straight out of a movie right there. I mean, yeah, that is so much smoke. Yeah, these ones with the bridge, these are crazy pictures. Because the traffic got so crazy and, roads were blocked and that sort of thing. So in order to get out of the city, people just got out of their cars, started walking and, walked across the bridges to get to wherever they needed to go. It looks like this guy's like really wanting to get out of there. He's going about a brisk jog. And they have like double layered bridges there, I think. I've never actually been there. I know a little bit about New York just from how much defunct radio I've listened to. Yeah, this is the picture I was thinking of. Like, that is insane to see. But yeah, I mean those are pretty much the spectrum of the pictures. Mostly get an idea of everything from that. But yeah, it's just crazy to think about what an event that was, and generally that something on that level that's in the history books, like you have no way of hearing what people thought on in the moment on that day. But starting with stuff like September 11th, 2001, there's hours and hours of people just calling in and saying exactly what they were thinking and what they saw that day. It would be really, really cool if you could get that for other things, like the, what was it, Mount Pompeii, where that volcano explodes and all the people get turned into like ashen molds of themselves or whatever. Like, yeah, imagine, somebody in the town over. They live in that town and they are at work in the town over, and then they come back home and they see that, and then they call into the radio show or whatever and talk about that. It would be nuts. But that's why I find this sort of stuff so interesting. Just a big moment in history, and you can hear exactly what the people who were there were thinking at the time, even though it was 23 years ago now.